I had just turned 16, but it felt like a lifetime of moving had already etched its mark on me. Despite changing homes 3 times, one memory from when I was just 5 years old remained vivid and haunting. It was the night when my mom tucked me into bed, kissed me goodnight, and turned off the light. As the room plunged into darkness, I saw it, a tall figure looming in the corner, adorned with a top hat and eyes that burned red like coals. The sight froze me with terror, and each time those crimson eyes bore into mine, I couldn't help but unleash an ear-piercing scream that shattered the stillness of the night. My mom would rush in, her face a mix of concern and exasperation as she found me trembling, tears streaming down my cheeks, and pointing frantically towards the shadowy figure. She'd roll her eyes with a sigh, understanding my fear but also trying to reassure me that it was just my imagination. We'd spend the rest of the night together in her bed, watching movies ranging from Transformers to Nightmare on Elm Street, seeking refuge in the realm of fiction to banish the specter that haunted my reality. I didn't mind the scary movies. In fact, they provided a distraction from the unnerving presence that loomed in the corners of my mind. Yet, no matter how many times my mom tried to soothe me or convince me it was just a trick of the dark, the tall figure with the top hat and those piercing red eyes persisted in making nocturnal appearances. Then, everything changed abruptly when my mom was evicted from our house due to her struggles with substance abuse. Before leaving, she gifted me a Nintendo Wii, a parting gesture tinged with bittersweet emotions. Strangely, as soon as she was gone, the visits from the tall figure ceased. But the relief was short-lived, as haunting visions of the figure began infiltrating my dreams every Tuesday night, each visit accompanied by the familiar, gut-wrenching scream that echoed through the house. My grandma, weary from the nightly disturbances, decided enough was enough. She shuffled me off to sleep beside my grandpa, hoping the change of scenery would quell the restless spirits that seemed to follow me. Yet, even in the safety of my grandpa's room, a new phantom emerged, a spectral girl with enormous fangs and eyes as black as pitch. She appeared sporadically, every 1 to 2 weeks, filling my nights with terror until I could no longer bear the solitude of darkness. Instead, I sought solace in the glow of late-night television and video games, losing myself in the pixelated worlds that offered a respite from the real and supernatural horrors that plagued my sleep. This routine persisted until I turned 14 and finally secured a room of my own in yet another new house. Yet, the move brought no respite, for the ghosts seemed to follow me like shadows cast by an unseen sun. No sooner had I settled into my new room than a new spirit appeared, a young boy, his spectral form translucent in the dim light. He spoke softly, his words laden with sorrow and regret as he recounted a tale of parental anguish and a tragic end. Confused and haunted by his words, I awoke the next morning with an inexplicable urge to uncover the truth. With trembling hands, I navigated the depths of the internet, researching the history of my new address. To my shock and horror, I unearthed a grim chapter. A married couple and their young son had once occupied the house, their lives cut short by a violent and senseless act that left scars on the land and echoes in the ether. Haunted by this revelation, I began to question the nature of the apparitions that had plagued me for years. Were they mere figments of an overactive imagination, or were they echoes of lives cut short, seeking solace or retribution in the realm of the living? Before long, circumstances forced another move. My uncle inherited the house, and we relocated once more, this time to a weathered abode with a history older and darker than any I had known before. The moment I set foot inside, a chill crept up my spine, a premonition of things unseen yet keenly felt. The house was a relic of the past, its walls whispering secrets of bygone eras. A rusty shed stood sentinel in the overgrown backyard, its time-worn facade a testament to neglect and decay. Inside, the rooms creaked with the weight of untold stories, and shadows danced in corners that seemed to harbor more than just dust and cobwebs. In my adolescent defiance, I embraced the solitude of sleepless nights, immersing myself in the frenetic worlds of Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto until the early hours. Yet, even amid the gunfire and chaos of virtual battlegrounds, the house remained unsettlingly quiet, a silence punctuated only by the occasional whisper that slithered through the darkness, urging unspeakable acts upon my troubled mind. The nightmares intensified, a kaleidoscope of murder, death, and desperate cries echoing through corridors that twisted and turned like labyrinthine tunes. Voices spoke of suicide as a release, their words a chilling echo of despair that threatened to drown me in a sea of darkness. Unable to ignore the mounting dread, I delved deeper into the history of the house, uncovering tales of a once prosperous family undone by tragedy. They had met their end within these very walls, their lives consumed by despair until they saw no way out but through the cold embrace of death. Confronting the current owner, I sought answers that she seemed reluctant to give. Her pallid complexion and evasive responses only fueled my unease, confirming what I had already suspected: the house bore scars that went far beyond its weathered facade. As months turned into a year, the atmosphere within those walls grew increasingly oppressive. Objects vanished without explanation, only to reappear in strange and unsettling places. Shadows moved of their own accord, defying the laws of physics and sanity, while whispers echoed through empty rooms, their words a haunting refrain that threatened to unravel the fragile threads of my sanity. Instead of succumbing to fear, however, a strange curiosity took hold of me. I began to communicate with the restless spirits that wandered those haunted halls, offering them a sympathetic ear where others would recoil in terror. Some remained silent, their presence palpable yet their stories left untold. Others responded tentatively, their spectral forms gesturing in ways that conveyed more than words ever could. In dreams haunted by specters that would terrify most, I found solace in conversation. The veil between the living and the dead seemed thinner to me now, a realm where past tragedies whispered their tales to those willing to listen. Perhaps I had grown accustomed to the company of spirits, finding a strange comfort in the echoes of the past that continued to weave their threads into my present. As I faced each night, uncertain which apparition might visit, I realized that in embracing their stories, I had found a peculiar kind of peace, a communion with the departed that transcended fear and offered a glimpse into the mysteries of existence itself. My family, too, adapted to the presence that lingered within the walls of my uncle's house. Objects continued to vanish and reappear, their movements an eerie dance choreographed by unseen hands. Yet, instead of dread, I felt a strange kinship with these ethereal inhabitants, seeking to understand the truths they held close to their spectral hearts. It was during one of those quiet evenings, as dusk settled into night and shadows stretched long across the floor, that I had my most profound encounter yet. In the dim glow of a solitary lamp, I found myself face to face with a presence unlike any I had encountered before, a spirit that exuded an aura of sadness tinged with resignation. She appeared as a young woman, her features obscured by the passage of time, yet her eyes filled with a sorrow that transcended the boundaries of life and death. Without words, she conveyed her story, a tale of love and loss, of promises broken and hearts left unhealed. Her voice was a whisper in the stillness, a melody of regrets and unspoken yearnings that echoed through the chambers of my soul. In that moment, I realized that my journey through the realms of the supernatural had led me not only to confront my own fears but also to forge connections with those who had walked these halls long before me. Each spirit had a story to tell, a narrative woven into the tapestry of history that stretched back through generations. As I listened to her tale, I felt a deep sense of empathy and understanding. Her presence, once a source of trepidation, now became a beacon of compassion, a reminder that even in death, the echoes of our lives resonate with meaning and purpose. In the days that followed, I continued to explore the depths of my uncle's house, uncovering forgotten relics and hidden truths that spoke of lives lived and lost. The spirits that wandered those corridors became not just phantoms of the past but companions on a journey of discovery, a quest to unravel the mysteries that bound us together in this shared space between worlds. Through it all, I maintained a delicate balance between the realms of the living and the dead, navigating the intricacies of existence with a newfound sense of purpose and clarity. The house, once a place of fear and uncertainty, had become a sanctuary, a place where the veil between reality and the supernatural was thin, allowing me to commune with those who had passed beyond. As I reflect on those tumultuous years of moving and haunting, I realize that each experience, each encounter with the unknown, has shaped me in ways I could never have imagined. The spirits that crossed my path, whether in dreams or waking hours, left an indelible mark on my soul.